Hi everyone, welcome to Kelsey G's webinar interview. We had forgotten to press record in the beginning of the webinar, so here is a re-recording of the introduction. Kelsey is a senior at Buckingham Brown and Nichols, and she has been accepted to Princeton, Yale, Duke, and Dartmouth for engineering as her dream schools. And her summers, she had attended summer school at Harvard for calculus and Stanford for AI. Some of the Katie Butt classes she's taken include CS01A, CS02A, 02B, CS91 twice because it is really hard. And other activities that she will talk about later on in the webinar include founding of the school's computer science club, some hackathons she's attended, including Code Day Boston, where she won Best in Show with her team, becoming the first underclassman to take all senior electives, how she got her internship that couldn't happen because of the virus, at the Department of Genetics at Harvard, and also her experience and interest in journalism, and also her interest in dance. So the first question I had asked Kelsey was, why did she choose to pursue STEM? And her reason was because she noticed that there were too few women and girls in the STEM field, especially when she started out with computer science at her middle school's comp sci club. But here she talks about how the male to female ratio has changed over time.
I can definitely see a difference in that ratio because in the computer science club that I started, the first year it was majority guys, but this year we're really proud to get like more girls and guys in our meeting. So that
Mm-hmm.
was definitely a wonderful sight to see.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. And for pursuing STEM and coding, was there any moment, because you said you were a pretty well-rounded student, how did you decipher between some of the other subjects and STEM and want to specifically target STEM, or do you feel like what you're able to do now is can also be applied in different areas like arts or biology or something?
Okay, yeah. One of my interviewers during a college interview also asked me this, and it was actually a pretty funny incident that like sparked my interest in STEM. And it's pretty childish too. So seventh grade summer, me and my group of friends at a summer camp, we shipped like this one guy and this one girl because we think they're really cute. And we did everything we could to like get them together. And this one time, this like one dude, um, printed across a computer screen, "Linda loves Jack" 100 times. So I at the time didn't know what computer science was, thought that was really classy and really cool, a really classy way to pick up people. So yeah, that was kind of like that at first sparked my interest. So I was like, all right, cool. I might just, you know, learn
Pursue CS.
that.
Awesome. And so for your application process, you mentioned like that's one of the questions that your one of your interview questions. What was the application like for the colleges that you were admitted to?
Well, for me, because it's comprehensive, right? So you have standardized testing stuff. My application process started all the way back in freshman year, freshman summer, because I wasn't born here, right? So I came here in like when I was 12, so I had trouble with English. So basically, I had to start freshman year summer to prepare
Mm-hmm.
AT.
Can you clarify where you came here from?
Oh yeah, I came from China,
Okay.
Beijing.
Okay. For people who don't know. Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I got that out of the way until December last year. So it was the process, and definitely important to visit the colleges, which is kind of sad that you guys can only online visit this year.
Mm-hmm.
And well, essay writing, I suggest writing your essays as late as possible, like not too late, right? You don't want to procrastinate, but if you write it too early, just know that your like essay writing level is always improving. So I kind of wrote my essays toward the closer to the deadline, but like I made sure I was organized and not like
Mm-hmm.
procrastinating, obviously. Um, yeah, and one thing that people overlook, I want to say, is the interview process, because a lot of the colleges tell you that like they're not going to downgrade you if you don't get interviewed, but having an interview is actually really important because you build that person to person connection and you get one more person on your side to speak for you, and you really want to see that opportunity and like show them how much you are the right fit for the college, how much you love the college, and how much you're like they deserve you too.
Right. And so for is it normal for students to start pursuing college application in their freshman year? Because I know for some students freshman year they don't even know what they want to major in or what colleges they want to, like they haven't started thinking about it.
Well, it depends on what aspect, right? Like essay writing, I started, and most of my classmates also started in August, which is a normal time that most
Hmm.
people start. But testing, especially if you're not that good at testing, start testing early, and also knock your SAT twos out of the park as soon as possible. So yeah,
Hmm.
preferably before the end of junior spring, fall.
Okay. And so did you take the SAT and the ACT or is it just the SAT?
I just took the SAT, but I experimented with ACT as well and realized that it's not my thing. So
Yeah.
definitely SAT.
It
Yeah,
depends. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It definitely depends on how you test. And for your SATs, how many times did you take it?
3 times, 3 times.
Okay, awesome. And so did you do that starting your freshman year? You start preparing for it?
I started preparing for it my freshman summer, and then I
Okay.
took first SAT in March of my junior year, and the
Okay.
second time August, and then the third time was the last time December.
Okay. Wow. And then for the interview process, what were some of the did you know how to prepare for it in advance?
Well, I think I was kind of lucky because I applied to like several schools, right? Aside from the ones that I was admitted to, and the first few schools that sent me interviews weren't the ones that I particularly liked. So I learned a lot from those interview opportunities. And
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I have seen many advice on College Confidential and all those websites, but it like doesn't feel the same until you actually go on one.
I see. So you're saying a lot of the like I guess safety schools that you applied to were ways for you to practice interviewing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
Is
I try
there
to schedule my better ones like as late as possible, without it
mm,
seeming looking like I try to slack off or like push back. It's like that.
right, right. And for the schools, how many schools did you apply to? Because I think for when I applied to college, there was a limit. I think it was like 10 schools.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, our college counselor suggested that no more than 12. But there are people on both ends of the spectrum. I know one friend who applied to only one school, and I know friends who applied to 26 schools. I'm like
Wow.
somewhere smack in the middle.
Okay, awesome. And then what did you think were important parts of your application that gave you a competitive advantage in the college application process? So I'm assuming it would like kind of be the interview. Do you think there are other things that you've done in your like whole application package that's made you stand out?
I think, well, so first of all, remember that everyone in the application pool is like great students. So when you're a student like that among a group of students who are like really bright, you kind of have to disregard the academics and really make sure that your humanities side of you stand out. And you have to show your leadership, your responsibility, your creativity, your fun, your depth, your diversity, your culture, all that stuff in your essays. And then
Mm,
the most important of all, show them that you really love them.
and
And
do
I guess
you,
yeah, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Okay, I guess one particular thing that stood out was that um, there are two target like topics, I guess, for a student for me, because most admissions officers won't remember students by name; they remember them by like traits or stories that they've told. And for me, it was just like the journalism part in combination with comp sci. And
I see.
the journalism, because as you in the earlier slide, you pointed out that I interviewed Barbara Lynch.
Hmm.
So that I wrote my entire 650-word essay on that.
Oh,
Um, and
okay.
it just kind of showed people you want to take on a challenge, and you don't want to um, think something impossible before you even go for it. Yeah, so they like seeing traits like this.
Okay. So for journalism and how it's integrated with STEM or with computer science, how did you talk about that?
So I'm the editor in chief of CHASM, which is our school's STEM magazine, right?
Okay.
So I've often collaborated with Computer Science Club to like do advertisements, and then collaborated with another girls coding club at my school. So
Oh,
kind of that.
okay. And then
I mean,
is the
similar. I mean, like separated.
okay, and then the it was the interview with the restaurateur Barbara Lynch. Was that like out of the norm of the stuff that you would be writing about in Chasm?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. CHASM is strictly STEM focused, whereas interview with Barbara Lynch, it was for an English assignment.
Oh, I see. And how did you modify or did your essays for different school applications, or did you write a different essay for each of the schools that were your reach schools?
There was one essay that I used for every single one of the schools that I applied to.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was
Very efficient.
very convenient, very nice. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, but other like mainly I reuse a lot of my essays because I like apply to more than like around 15 schools. So
Okay.
but like the why this college ones, you have to make sure you do your research, and you do your research, and then you like write the essay just for that college. Like I just know that in total I wrote over 30,000 words
Oh my gosh.
for a college essay. Yeah.
Right. And so to give us an example then, what was it about? So you've accepted to go to Princeton then, and what is it about Princeton's culture that you feel like that you after your research you noticed was something that you can say that and that you find you have a good culture fit to?
Okay, this is definitely a vibe thing. Like before I visited Princeton, I thought it was like, okay, cool, just like another Ivy League that I'll apply to. But after I visited, the tour guide told us how like in senior year you have to complete a senior thesis, and I thought that was like so my thing. So I really like its academic setting and how focused it is on its academics, especially with all the professors who are required to teach undergraduates. You know, and you have that, and then you compare it to like Harvard or Yale, who you have like I don't know a lot of legacies, and then culture like undergraduate culture isn't as like
Strong.
focused.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it was just like a no-brainer for me.
Mm-hmm. Was it
Yeah.
is there a difference in class size? I think I was looking up like Princeton has smaller student to teacher
I
class
think it is. I
sizes.
think it has like a 5-to-1 or 6-to-1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm. And so when you visited did you visit all of the schools that you had gotten accepted to? Okay.
I did accept like some of my safety ones.
That's okay. And what got you really excited about those schools?
Like which one specifically, or
Let's say like Princeton, Yale, Duke, and Dartmouth.
yeah, okay. So those ones, I don't really know how to explain it, but like call me superstitious if you want, but it's just like a vibe thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I can so tell you, before I visited those colleges, Yale, Duke, and Dartmouth were not on my list. And looking back, I
Mm.
would have been so scared if I was just admitted into Princeton. But just after visiting the college, it's something really, it's like a atmosphere kind of thing. It just you feel it.
Mm-hmm. Right. And
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but Duke is in North Carolina?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, its garden is so pretty.
I've never visited, so I would love to see it one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So then,
Yeah.
next question. Yeah, so I asked why you chose Princeton in the end. And also it seems like you from the internship that you were accepted to, that you have an interest in biology as well. So are you interested in doing research?
Uh, I'm definitely interested in doing research in college, but previously, like I haven't had any research internship or experience, and this internship opportunity at Harvard would have been my first, except it was canceled due to the pandemic. And I want to say that I'm not specifically interested in bio. I just remember that someone saying how it was another one of my college interviewers, but she was saying how computer science is an important tool, and it
Mm-hmm.
can be used for any field, especially if you're going to STEM. So yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
for the internship, I was just to clarify, I was just gonna go write like Python, JavaScripts to analyze DNA. So I'm not heavily involved in the lab work.
Mm-hmm.
It was gonna be like typing in front of a computer,
Processing the data.
processing data.
Awesome. That's still a really valuable experience if it were to happen. But I'm sure you'll have lots of very similar or maybe even better experiences in the future. Okay, and for other academic questions, what current goals do you have for yourself for
For the
academic
near
pursuits?
future, for the near future is to survive through the next 4 years because I've heard that undergraduate, like the 4 years at Princeton, will be really tough. Like
Hmm.
coursework is a lot, so
Yep.
that
Yeah,
is just my hope
definitely.
for the near future, and then we'll see from there.
Do you know, and this is also the next question, which is, do you know what classes you're going to be taking, or are there any particular classes you're excited about?
Well, I'm accepted into BFC, right, the engineering squad kind of
Hmm.
thing. So I will be taking a lot of engineering related classes because it's part of the requirement. And honestly, I haven't looked at the course catalog, and I really should, but I just know that it's gonna be STEM heavy, CS
Hmm.
heavy, and math heavy because math. And then
Hmm.
for interest though, definitely I'm thinking of pursuing a concentration in journalism.
Hmm. Oh, okay. Or have you always enjoyed writing?
Not for well, yes, well I guess yeah. I don't dislike it. But
I
I guess
see.
I've been since ever since working for like magazines at my school, I've just kind of writing is like natural. It just happens. So why not just continue pursuing it?
Yeah, I think yeah, especially nowadays, where journalism is so attacked, I think more people can strive to pursue something that's like about seeking the truth.
Yeah. In addition, like when you do research, it's a lot of you want to publish papers, so it's a lot of writing anyway. And I think journalism gives you a hand in that.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely. I've heard a lot of parallels between the two areas, like just like seeking out answers and not really knowing if there's a final destination. It's just having like very open questions and then using a set of tools to try to figure out best possible answers to it. So I can see definitely the similarity. It does sound a little bit far from like traditional STEM and coding. But that's okay. I think it's really great for just people to have a diverse set of interests, and they are although they are different, like I'm sure there are areas of each discipline that's integrated and connected to each other, and you can learn
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, and I guess like for extracurriculars too, there are also like dance clubs at Princeton have already been contacting me, so I'm really excited for that too.
Wow. Okay, no, that's awesome because you kind of like are integrated already into the community a little bit. Okay, and also so you have so many different activities. A lot of it is like pretty like high in leadership. How do you balance all of the activities and the work you need to do? And do you get overwhelmed? If so, how do you handle stress?
Okay, yes. So yeah, I'm like what you call one of those floaters. So I like just float from one thing to another. So I sleep 9 hours per night while doing all that. And I think part of the reason why is that I like deleted my social media throughout junior year, and it was absolutely amazing because it stopped me from wasting any time.
Mhm.
And it also gave me more energy to take in more knowledge and like do all my work at
Mhm.
school. But even getting that much sleep, still, I do get stressed. Like I think any one of us would get stressed during senior fall, especially you have to handle all of your courses, making sure that you keep your grades at a good level, and then while writing those essays. Um, so yeah, I definitely did get stressed, and what I did was that I'm really appreciative of how supportive my mom was, because she was always on my side. Like I know that like she isn't putting any extra stress on me, so that was a very good breather.
Mhm.
And there are two times that I've been like too overwhelmed that I just took a day off of school. It happened
Mhm.
twice, but that was
Mhm.
really nice. I just
Only twice.
yeah,
Mhm.
it needed, much needed, and don't be too hard on yourself, but
Mhm.
like make sure you keep like be organized, right? So you don't procrastinate. Don't procrastinate. It's so bad.
Mm. And do you have any like practical skills on how you not like how do you manage your time?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So in August, when I started all of my applications, I made this huge chart, physical chart, with all of the colleges that I'm applying listed, with all of its deadlines and all this every detail like listed out in a big spreadsheet, and I stuck it to my bedroom wall. So it's just there. Whenever I complete something, I like
Check it
mark it
off.
with like a final. And
Mhm.
then also our school gives us a planner, so definitely using that and planning things at least a month ahead.
Mhm. Yeah, and for the support that your parents gave you, have they always just been encouraging of your pursuits, whatever you're interested in? They're just like trying to get the resources for you.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, because I'm pretty sure like your school is quite competitive too, and also being in Massachusetts, it's pretty competitive. How do you manage like the stress from, I guess, like the surrounding noise of because you hear like people doing amazing things all the time, and does that affect you, or do you kind of just like shut it out?
I well, personally, I think if you state, I don't know, this is gonna be so cliche, but if you it just like yeah, I try to shut out what other people are doing, because if there are always gonna be people doing things that are better than you do, but be true to yourself. Yeah, that
Hmm.
is. I said it. I um.
And I think that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah, and do what you enjoy. Make sure you're not pushing yourself like too hard. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, be your best self.
Hmm. Hmm. Nice. That's awesome. And so, what advice would you have, or additional advice would you have for younger students who want to kind of walk a similar path in their preparation for their dream schools?
Yeah, I think well, staying organized is definitely like number one. But on top of that, once you have that laid out, make sure you get as many intern or leadership opportunities or awards if possible. Things that can really identify you from the rest of the crowd. Um, yeah, and while making sure that your grade stays up at as as best as possible.
Hmm.
Because academics is above all the most important thing. And
Right.
yeah, well, yeah, it's and like I also want to say it's like you really have to be well rounded. Like community service, show how you're giving back to the community, and be kind,
Hmm.
personality, and work experience, definitely work experience if
Hmm.
um yeah.
Okay. And so do you think it's more important to, because it seems like looking at what you were able to do, you kind of have one thing that you are really good at, and then all the other surrounding extracurriculars and other activities where you demonstrate leadership are kind of supporting that. Some are related and some aren't. But it seems like having one clear focus so that you have like this one thing that's that you have a strength in and that you can dive really deep into is important, and then the rest just shows how you're well-rounded.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
it's kind of like making, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the Harvard model, actually, but how, like, being good at everything, but being really good at one thing. So,
Mhm. Right. Okay. And then next we have coding and Katie Byte. So for computer science. So in your opinion, how does computer science study strengthen learning capability in general?
well, I mean, I think, as I said earlier, it's just like CS is a really great tool. So once you have that tool, once you're equipped with that tool, you find yourself to be able to learn so many new things. Like, for example, like, if the internship was to happen, um, I would have acquired many like knowledge about genetics and ancient DNA along with just doing CS.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you
Right.
like a broader scope that you can tap into.
Mm-hmm. Or have there been any very like non-traditional projects you were able to do with computer science skills?
Well, I mean, non-traditional projects like we built games, but that's pretty traditional. And all
Mm-hmm.
the hackathons that we went to were also pretty traditional. Um,
And that's fine too. Yeah. Or maybe more so like traditional is not the right word, but out of like that taps into a different application. For example, like in design or like you just said biology, that's one thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So for a Code Day Best in Show that hackathon, we built a like a map kind of tracking the trash cans in like Boston. So that's kind of like with the goal of trying to make the environment better,
Mhm.
I guess.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
so it's nice, like with once you're equipped with CS, you find yourself to be able to do like help more people and do more.
Mhm.
Uh,
Right. Right.
all like many I think all the hackathons I've been to, they want to try to push you to use what you have learned to apply to make things that solve problems.
Mhm. Exactly. Yep. I think lots of hackathons also have like a particular prompt, and it could be like sustainability, or it could be like I don't know, industrial related projects, or even art and design, or some things like that, where you have a prompt and then you can like break into teams and then try to solve that problem within a short period of time. Um, do you have any suggestions for younger students who are just starting out with computer science?
Ooh. Okay, yeah. So when I know when I first started with computer science, I also had a lot of trouble understanding it, and I know that I thought the pace was a little fast. But like especially with Katie Byte, right? There are a lot of office hours. I think they're open 6 days out of 7,
Mm-hmm.
with 4 sections each time. I host one of them, but I spent like when I started with CS01A, right? I pretty much spent my weekends on with office hours because they just helped me with homework and also clarified any um, things that I didn't understand, as well as like teaching me things before CS01A that I kind of missed, right? Because I jumped right into CS01A. So
Mm,
definitely office hours have been a huge help, and also I think it's like learning and applying, and I went to a lot of different hackathons, so I guess I can suggest hackathons are
yeah.
good for you guys, but
Yeah.
they're like all out there. There's so many. They're like every single day they happen. Just search them
Okay.
up on Eventbrite. Tons pop up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what hackathons do you know of?
I've been to so Hack New England High School is only for high school students, which is really nice. Um, there's also Metro Hacks, Code Day Boston. The biggest one I've been to, Tech Together. This one's for girls and non-binary only, but it's the biggest event in nation coding for female students and non-binary student wise. So it was a 48-hour event, and I just remember there were did I say there were 3,000 over 3,000 people that went there?
No. Oh
Okay,
wow, that's a lot.
That was, yeah, that's a lot. It's the biggest in the nation. And it was 48 hours, so I stayed up 44 hours straight just coding. That was like a record.
Wow. And where was that?
In at BU. BU's again a arena. And
Okay.
one of the reasons why you want to go to these events is even if, well, like, for the sake of learning, right? There's you meet a ton of sponsors, so many future job opportunities if you're looking for those, as well as workshops that they host, and like, yeah, and I guess for fun, like they give you a lot of swag. I got this water bottle from one of the events.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, like there's no reason not to.
Okay, yeah. And are there any online ones or are they mostly in person?
Well, now there are a lot of online ones because
Okay.
of the they've all been moved online. But I I'm sure there are other online ones as well. And aside from hackathons, there's also this thing called Capture the Flag.
Capture
That's
the
also
flag.
Capture the Flag. Yeah, Capture the Flag computer science thing.
And is that similar to a hackathon?
That it's like no, it's
Okay.
very different, but it's more like I don't want to say like hacking esque.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to find clues on random websites or random from the clues that they give you, which can be very random.
Oh,
This is
interesting.
like a thing that you can do during computer science clubs when you have more people as a team.
Okay. If you don't mind, maybe you can like give me a list of some of the hackathons you've participated in, the ones you've heard of, and then I'll also look up Capture the Flag, and then I can send it to the
Okay.
audience members. So afterwards, so like after the meeting, because we'll want to compile the list, and so people can know what to participate in. I'll also add it in the newsletter. So that would be great. Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of like BU has a lot of hackathons. A lot of different schools have them too. So that's a good resource. How about how about like Katie Bite classes? How did Katie Bite classes help you with like developing your computer science skills?
Okay, yeah, yeah, of course. So like I'm literally just gonna start ranting because let me just tell you, without Katie Bite, I would not have been accepted into Princeton, into Yale, into Duke, into Dartmouth. That like 120% would not have been possible. So just like
That's
first
a
of all,
huge
informally,
praise.
Katie Bite is like a great platform. Lifesaver. So like yeah, that's what you call a mentor
hmm Who
platform.
were who were some of the teachers you had?
Yeah, I had Andrew and Ben, I think. Wait, Jail. Yeah, and Chibon too, and Chibon too. So,
Yeah.
I started taking Kitty Bite classes. Well, you already talked about this, but I started taking Kitty Bite classes in eighth grade, and I've been with them for 5 years.
hmm
And I started working for them freshman year. So like I'm really grateful for the working opportunity that it gave me because it's a way to it's just like something to put on your college resume, which is really valuable, and all the different tasks that I've been given too. So I started as a receptionist, very humble, great, just making phone calls, and then and then I became a class TA, and then I became a website developer where
hmm
I got to meet more people on the TA team in depth, and that was a
hmm
great experience because you got to know like so many aspiring young people
Engineers.
my age who are like who are so amazing and doing great things and will do great things in the future. And it was just great getting that opportunity to get connected to them. Um, and in addition, during web dev training, they taught me how to use HTML, CSS, and Terminal. So
Okay, yep.
great.
hmm
Personal growth.
Beginner. Yeah.
And then what's even more exciting is that I got the opportunity to teach a bilingual course,
hmm
two bilingual courses that are fundamentals. So they're in Chinese and English. Um, yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
also, in addition, a office hours TA. So if you want to come talk to me. Sundays section 2.
Nice. That's great. And yeah, we're really thankful for all the help that you've given us for the past 5 years, is it?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
literally, Dubai is like my emotional second home. If
Oh, that's so sweet. We also have a question from the audience, Mahi Reddy, asking what do CS schools want to see in essays? What do computer science schools want to see in your college application essays?
okay, yeah, great question. Um, in general, if you so I'm assuming that you will be writing this huge this specific BSE like engineering essay that they asked. And that one is really about their courses. What courses, which ones of their courses that you want to take, and really like mention some of the names, like I don't know, MA 035. So because you're showing them that you did your research and you think those ones will fit you, and also mention your accomplishments thus far, and your goal for the future, and how the institution can help you achieve that goal, as well as what goal or how that goal can benefit the community, what you can bring to the community.
Okay, yeah, awesome. It is 7:43. I do want time for people to ask questions, like Mahi did. So I will just stop here actually, and I can continue if there aren't too many questions, but I would like to open the floor to our audience members. If you have any questions, just feel free to, I guess you can use your microphone if you want to share your microphone, or you can just type it in the chat. Any questions for Kelsey? And again, here I've put some of her experiences on the slide if you want to ask anything related to summer school, to college decisions, or to like her journalism experience. And hackathon experience, or maybe like how she found or what the process is in finding a computer science club in her school. Then you can feel free to ask that in the chat section. Okay. All right. We don't have any questions, so I will go back to my previous slide and we can talk about, let's see. Yeah, we can talk about what classes, what computer science classes at Katie By did you find were the hardest?
Okay, well, CS 91, because I took it 2 times. And the first time I took it, because it was like preparing for the Usa, right? The first time I took it, I couldn't pass the test.
Yeah, it's hard. No, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And so for people who don't know, it's the USA Computing Olympiad. It's an algorithmic programming competition for students who want to give a go at trying to solve really complex problems. And it's three to 5 hours long. I think it depends on the competition. And you start off in bronze and then you pass the level, and then getting to platinum level afterwards. You can compete in the IOI,
Yes.
and then after, yeah, and then you can represent the um, your country in international competition. So we have a question from Lynn asking you about, can you talk about your summer school experiences? So going back to here, you did the Stanford Pre-Collegiate AI and also Harvard for Calc.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. So the two summer schools definitely have very different vibes. Because for one thing, the Harvard one I took was for credit, so it was 7 weeks long, and taught by a Harvard professor. So literally they crammed a semester worth of course load into 7 weeks, and it was just very intense, very academic
Wow.
focused. Um, and also I was a day student, so I didn't live in a dorm, so it was all about studying, studying, studying. Whereas for Stanford, it was only 3 weeks, and it was more like you go there, you get a feel for the campus, you have fun while learning a little bit of artificial intelligence. It was taught by a professor or it was taught by a PhD student at UC, one of the UC schools.
Mhm.
So it's definitely like less. It was more relaxed.
Mhm.
And a lot more opportunities to like walk around the school and get to know, get familiarize yourself with it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, I think if you were to like think about what you want in a summer program, if you want to get credit and get credit for like future college um, courses, or like just getting a sense for the community.
Mhm. I see. And for Stanford, did you like the campus?
It's definitely a very pretty campus. Sky's always
Mm.
blue. 3 weeks I was there, it never rained once.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah. Yep, I would also love to visit one day. And so a follow-up question. So we have a question from Kyle asking if I start to learn C++, how much time would it take for him to get ready to try USACO?
well, I think first of all you have to pass the AP. It's past AP level, so make sure you know the algorithms that the AP requires and all the objects oriented things, references, and then from there just take a 91 class. No,
Nice. Right.
yeah.
So for our students, we don't recommend they start USACO just when they start out learning programming. Usually they have 1 or 2 years of experience before they start trying USACO problems because they are pretty challenging. But the USACO problems are available online. They are free on the USACO website, so you can download that and get a sense of how difficult it is. How many hours do I need to practice for C++ for USACO? Anything else I should practice? Yeah, so I guess his question is how many hours does he need to practice C++ for USACO?
Well, I did Java, but I think I guess they're kind of similar. Um, I just did the normal. I think it's just like 3 hours, 3 to 5 hours per week. It's not that intense, or maybe I just didn't put enough effort in it.
Three to
Um,
5 hours per week for how long?
for
To
the
get
well,
to taking
it was
USACO.
because I judged it based on the length of the trimester, the semester. So it's just
Hmm.
kind of for 18 weeks you have the class, so it's like 18 weeks times 5.
Right, right. It's about 5 months.
Yeah.
And so that's like from when you started. Did you have any programming experience beforehand?
With
Before CS91?
yeah, I took. Wait, are you asking me or are you asking? Sorry, Lynn.
Oh, so I think the point is that you would need the CS 01A, 01B, 02A, and then CS 91. So it's like, and each of those levels are 1 semester long, which is about 4 to 5 months long. So that's how long it took her to go from like very little experience to being able to do the USICO. I guess that's the answer.
Yeah.
And another question, what courses do you choose in high school years? What courses did you choose in high school?
Okay. Yeah, I crammed my schedule with like intense courses freshman, sophomore, and junior year, and then senior year I let loose. Senior fall, especially I let loose a little bit because like college applications is another course on its own, and it's like a really intense course. So I for senior year I took like breather courses like Spanish. We just watched movies the entire time. So that was nice. But I
Nice.
made sure like all of my junior classes were like AP classes. And then some of my senior classes too are like above AP, but like they're known to be breather courses.
I see. So you finished your AP classes in your junior year.
Junior year, yeah.
What APs did you take?
Well, I took AP Comp my freshman year, and then I took um, well, AP Spanish, AP Physics, C Mechanics, AP Calc, BC, AP. Oh shoot, there are like two other ones. Um, yeah, I don't remember them from the top of my head. But oh
What
wait,
you said A
English.
You said BC?
Yeah, Calc BC,
Oh, okay.
AP Calc BC, and then I opted out of AP History. I couldn't do AP History.
Yeah, that's hard. History is difficult. But for freshman year, you finished your AP Computer Science.
Yeah, and then because of that, I was able to take the senior elective.
Got it. Okay, so that's Lynn's question. And then Kaden asks, which of your accomplishment has the most impact on your application?
Accomplishment wise, definitely the interview with Barbara Lynch.
Mm,
Yeah, that was like a one in a lifetime opportunity. Um, yeah.
what do you think about obviously she's famous and like a top 100 most influential people. What is it about the interview itself do you think colleges really recognize?
Ah, okay. So in my essay that I wrote about it, I talked about how like it's um like at the moment that we're having a conversation, it ceased to be like me formally interviewing her for like an English essay, but it became more like a, a chance that we got to connect over how for the culinary field, it's a field with like that's male dominated, and then it's similar in CS. So it was just more like a conversation between two women on the challenges in those
Mm-hmm.
fields.
And breaking
There was
gender boundaries.
from her. There was so much, yeah. And
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I guess the key takeaway is find someone famous to give you some great life lessons. I'm just joking. We have another question. I see. Why oh, actually, let me go back and scroll up. Can you talk about how you found slash applied for the internship, the Harvard
uh okay.
biology?
Yeah, yeah. So this is I'm my senior I'm taking a senior elective called Current Topics and Research in Science and Technology. The and she like gives the people that she gives like she knows a lot of people, right? So she kind of like has this entire list that we can choose from, things that we're interested in, and then like um we just like create our own resume and then send it off. Hopefully they respond. If they don't respond, we'll call.
I see. So your teacher was able to connect you with people who are working in the department.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, that's hopefully, yeah, I guess that's like a benefit of being in Massachusetts too. And just people are pretty well connected in the area. And then we have a question from Maggie Law, which is how did you overcome hard coding problems when you get, yep.
Okay, yeah. That that happens very often. Um, I think putting it aside and coming back to it definitely helps, but making sure that the first of all, making sure that the problem that you have isn't because of like a semicolon or something or like a misplaced bracket, because that definitely happens and it's really annoying. So you want to like prevent that from happening in the first place, right? Like making sure you tab all of your code. But when it comes to like difficult ones, cut what was it called? Stack Overflow, and then office hours.
What is the second one? Office
Stack
hours?
Overflow.
Oh yeah, office
Yeah,
hours.
Stack Overflow, office hours. And yeah, I think like I was able to reach out to the computer science teachers in my school too. So they're always really opening. So if you can are able to find a mentor or another teacher, definitely do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so the website is Stack Overflow and it's like a forum for a lot of computer science questions. And so if you Google that, I'm sure that will come up. And then next we have why did you choose computer science at Princeton compared to other top computer science programs?
Well, okay, let's see. So it was like from Yale, Princeton, Dartmouth, and Duke. Yeah. So for Duke and Dartmouth, I got into the arts and science, so it wasn't like CS targeted. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then for Yale, Yale is known for its humanities. So it's like a little, just a little less.
Mm. Is it a
So
little more theoretical, do you think? Like similar to Harvard Computer Science is a lot of theory rather than practice.
that I am not too familiar with, but I did look at the rankings for their
Mm-hmm.
science departments, and I think all out of all of them, Princeton had out of all of my options, Princeton had the best.
Mm-hmm.
It was ranked number 6 in the nation, but it was the best. Yeah, and I'm not
Mm.
like definitely considering well BSc for sure, but which major still considering my
Oh,
options.
yep. Okay, that's yep, and you should be able to do that because it's very hard to know exactly what direction you want to go,
Yeah.
especially especially when you're well-rounded.
Oh, yeah. It's a pain,
And
really. It's kind of
yeah.
sad.
And then a question from Paris. She says, "This goes a little back. What high schools did you consider before choosing BBN? Why did you pick it, and how did it help you with your college?"
I came into BBN in 6th grade, so I was just kind of going in there, and I haven't thought about. Well, yeah, I thought about applying to Phillips Exeter and Andover, but I like decided against it because I feel like it's such a big campus, right? Like there are like 1,000 something people per grade or something, and it's harder to stand out that way. Like if I were to go there, it's like, would you rather be number like the top 10 percentage in the number one school, or would you rather be the top 1% in like a school that's still good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's definitely true. And it's like choosing the environment you want to be in. It's not necessarily always about choosing the best, but the best for you. Like if you would feel a lot of maybe if you were to go to Phillips, Exeter, or other like really I guess like top in the world schools, then there you can get just a lot more stress than you're asking for too. But did you apply to any other schools?
High school?
High schools? High schools? Yeah.
What? Oh, I didn't apply to any high schools. No, I like considered, but I realized I really love BBNN. It's a great
Okay.
school with great teachers, great resources,
Okay.
and
Or other middle schools.
no,
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So when you applied, were you in China when you applied
yeah,
for
yeah.
school here?
I applied for 6th grade.
I see. Do you remember what the application process was like?
Um, not really.
That's
Like,
okay.
yeah. Well, it was definitely less stressful than college applications. Um, so I applied for like 10 schools, but it
Hmm.
was low key.
Yep.
It wasn't that competitive, I feel like.
Okay. And were there any another question from Abby, were there other community service activities not mentioned yet that you really enjoyed during doing in high school?
I tutor people, like I
Hmm.
mentor students from a local middle school. So
Hmm.
I have a lot of fun doing it. I'm still doing it throughout the pandemic because the faculty there told me that they need to stay connected, and then some of them haven't been talking with other people since school like
Oh
ended.
wow.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges with that? Is having like sufficient internet connection or stuff like that a challenge?
Yeah, and also a lot of them come from different like family situations. So for example, this one girl always has to help with like chore, and then this one girl who has like who always has to take care of her dad, etc.
Hmm. I see. Yeah, that is definitely really tough. And then so another question from Abby is what subject tests did you take? Did you include them in your application?
Yeah, I took math and math 2, bio, chem, and then literature.
Hmm.
And I only submitted two. I only submitted chem and math 2. Math 2, I feel like it's a must. Like every school kind of just wants math 2, especially if you're
Hmm.
considering STEM, right?
Right.
Sure. And then another one. Any other science one is fine. Literature, I feel like I didn't need to take it.
Yeah. Did you get guidance from mostly your school on what the steps are for college applications, like what you needed to complete?
There were like, yeah, they had reminders. It was like once per week, and then they have like a rough outline of the things that we should do. But yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But the
Okay.
details you have to fill in for yourself.
Awesome. And if another question from Abby, if you didn't do any sports, do you think that not doing sports made a big impact in your applications? You don't you play hockey?
I do, but it's like low key junior varsity. Yeah, like I've never been a big sports person, but I dance, so that
Mhm.
kind of made up for it because it's like an art and a sport.
Mhm. Yep, definitely. And yeah, and uh you did like performances and you led the club as well.
Yeah.
And another question from Kyle, what kind of summer school programs competition do you most recommend?
Ooh, okay. Summer school. Well, I recommend the credit ones. It doesn't matter like Harvard, Stanford. Just take credit ones because you learn real things from real professors. Competitions, yeah, Usaco, and then hackathons. Every hackathon is essentially a competition. If you can win things, try to win things. Um, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Are there for summer schools, did you have to apply for the summer schools?
yeah. Their
Okay.
applications are pretty low key. Just make sure you have like a good GPA, a good PSAT score, a solid teacher recommendation, and then make sure that you're in your responses, like you're treating them like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you say that? Like you're doing them. Oh shoot, I know that's in Chinese. I don't know how to say this in English.
What is it in Chinese?
Okay. Yeah, but like do them like
Uh-huh.
without being too rough with the answers. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're low key. They're low key.
Okay. So it's not the application process isn't too hard. Um, And then, oh, he
Like,
followed up with specifically for Steam, are there any, yeah, I guess what you had recommended are all within the Steam area, especially hackathons. Try to find some in your area, even internationally, if you just do a quick search. Are there hackathons? Are there a lot of hackathons for high school students? Because there are a lot for adults.
there are a lot for adults. For high school students, yeah, like Metro Hacks, I think at MIT, that was specifically for high school students.
Hmm.
Hacknet, Hack New England High School. I think there's also like Lexington Hacks or something. Lex Hack.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And I think the website that I go to, it's like Metro Hacks. There's like MLH. There's a specific website that has a list of all the hackathons, and then you can
Okay.
just do a filter search like for high schoolers only or something, or accepts high school students, and then it'll give you a list.
Okay, yeah. If you can give me that after the this
Yeah.
conference, that'll be great.
Yeah.
And so it's 8:05, but let's finish up with the questions. What are some non-IVs you applied for?
Where's my? I'll like pull up a list. Let's see. Well, the safeties are like in my area, so it's the UBC.
So Boston
And
University, Boston College.
yeah, and then non-IVs. Well, Duke was a non-IV. Also, I had CM Carnegie Mellon, Caltech, UU Chicago, JHU. That was it. That was it. Yeah, like 10 of them. Like I applied to 18 schools in total. I got accepted from 6. I got waitlisted in like 8. Rejected from 4. So
Hmm.
that was fine.
Yeah, that's why you should apply to a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then Abby asks, what were some jobs you did in high school? How long did you do them for? I
My
mean, you touched
only
upon
work
them.
experience is with Katie Bite. So I did it for 3.5 years, starting in freshman year spring.
Awesome. Kyle asks, how many APs should I consider?
That depends on how many APs your school offers. Like the schools doesn't care the number of APs that you take. They want to make sure that they want to see that you're taking the most advantage of the opportunity. So like if your school offers 50 APs, um, like you want to take as many as possible without overwhelming yourself.
Hmm. I
Yeah,
thought you were gonna say take all of them.
yeah, don't take all of them. There aren't 50 APs available.
Yep. And he follows up with, should there be any balance between STEM and language arts slash social studies?
Well, for well, I think yes, because this is just my opinion. I don't know. Because yeah, like as we discussed earlier, I think we said that you want to make sure you're all rounded and then like super good at one thing. So
Mm-hmm.
in that sense, um, like language, social study, language arts, like humanities should be like good.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
yeah. But I balance mine with like journalism and computer science because I like both and it's like my personal preference.
Awesome. For with like you and your peers, do you find any like patterns in kind of the kinds of activities that you and your peers have participated in and how that kind of turned out for colleges or for other areas?
Oh yeah, I think so. I have one friend who's like a big political person, so he like went on so many like campaigns, worked for
Oh,
this
wow.
representative, that representative, and so yeah, it's more like Georgetown.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah, and are there other friends that you know of that, because it sounds like having like it seems like this is the theme of the talk, which is having something you're really good at. So for him it's political science.
Yeah.
Yeah. And are there any other people you know who kind of like have found the stuff that they're good at and then now they're going to pursue it?
I think yeah, there are cases such as these. Like for example, I have another friend who loves econ,
Hmm.
and got into U Chicago, but I don't know. Yeah, U Chicago, like
That's good. That's an intense school
yeah,
for
it's
economics.
and then also I think a great um, econ program too. It was like her top school, so
Okay, yeah. Awesome. So that's all the questions we have. If there are any other last minute ones, feel free to send it over our way. Hopefully we're able to answer them.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
And
So
I guess that's just like whatever colleges you end up in, like the process of college applications is you learn a lot from it. Like I learned something about my every one of my grandparents, like
that's awesome.
just writing the application. So it's great. You learn a lot from it. You grow from it. Yeah.
Uh-huh. What paper were you writing or what essay were you writing where you had to learn about your grandparents?
Oh, it's just like, why did you choose? Why are you interested in this major? And I was like, well, I have a legacy in this major. Like my grandparents,
Uh,
like a physics engineer, and then like a literature teacher, etc.
okay, got it. Yeah, no. Yeah,
Yeah.
so tap into your resources. Be good at storytelling. Yep. Okay. So I think that's it for our webinar today. Thank you so much, Kelsey, for taking time out of your day to do this. We're going to figure out a list of hackathons that are good to participate in. I'll also try to find some online ones because it might be harder for it will be harder for people to be able to even maybe in the fall participate in in-person hackathons. So yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening into the webinar. If you have any questions, you can email us at inquiry@katiebyte.com. I have that in the next slide. Actually, this is to the free trial. You can do that too, but katiebyte.com. And then email is inquiry, inquiry @katiebyte.com. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Yep, email us if you have any questions, and go on our website to learn more information. All right, thank you guys. Bye bye. Thanks, Kelsey, so much. Have a good
Bye.
evening. Bye bye.